Is cannabis use in the older population possibly causing an increased risk in dementia? A new study hopes to highlight that. A new study from JAMA Neurology showed that individuals who were seeking the hospital or the emergency room for cannabis-related care were much more likely to develop dementia over the next 5 years compared to the normal population. Now, the study specifically found that compared to the normal population, these individuals were about 23% more likely to develop dementia, which means that they were at a significant increased risk. Now, this study out of Canada looked at almost 6 million people over almost 15 years and decided to even consider things like socio-demographic backgrounds to evaluate cognitive decline. What the study doesn't show, though, is how much the cannabis was being used by these individuals, as well as if there's a direct link between them and dementia. Previous studies, ever since it's been legalized in Canada, have been showing us some basic relationships between cannabis use and other cognitive issues, things like cognitive decline, speech impairment, and other factors. But what they're starting to see is that more and more research comes out that cannabis may not have absolutely no impacts on the brain. One key interesting part of the study that was pointed out was that individuals who were over 45 were 5 times more likely to go visit the emergency room for cannabis-related issues. But when you looked at individuals who were 65 and older, that number almost grew to 25-fold. So these numbers are significantly important. Now, in these individuals who ended up visiting the emergency room or the hospital for cannabis-related care, 5% of them ended up getting a diagnosis of dementia within 5 years. Now, compared to the general population who were visiting the emergency room for any given reason, this was more closer to about 3.5%, showing that there was an increase between the two. These numbers get even scarier when they compared it to the general healthy population, where they saw that this was 1.72 times more likely if you were using cannabis and visited the emergency room for related care. All in all, this isn't a direct relationship between cannabis causes dementia, but it's just some further research that we're starting to get, showing that there may be some causal link between the two.